mentioned Kevin Owens and Jericho, and we had the best story on the show for months.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the original plans from Vince's mouth to my ears directly was the main event of WrestleMania, whatever year that was going to be Jericho versus Owens for the world title, and Jericho wins the world title for the first time ever as a babyface. I've never been a babyface world champion, ever. Weird to think about, right? 7-time champ, always as a heel. And that includes AEW. And then next week, the plans changed, which Vince did not tell me, to Goldberg and Brock for the title, because that's what they wanted to do. And that's fine. Maybe from a marquee standpoint, that might have been a bigger money match, although I think from a story standpoint, ours was worth more, but whatever. But the difference was we went from the main event to being put on second. Now, that's an insult, because the second match is just another match. Either you're on last or you're on first, and maybe the semi-main event. But that's it. Those are your big money spots for WrestleMania. Even though Sean and I were on fifth, but that was a different story. But to go on second after this whole great story and penciled in at some point for the main event, second, that really was like, you know what? That's where it hit me. It doesn't matter what I do here now. I could be in the best storyline on the show, or I could be, the freaking 24/7 champion. It doesn't matter. This is my slot now. And that's what I was like, okay, great. It's time to go. And that's not a bad thing, but I always know when it's time to leave WWE. And that's when they start taking you for granted. And so I left. That's when Judas was just taking off, and it became a huge hit. And there was a lot of touring for us. And that, I was like, I'm just going to leave, and we'll see when the time is right to come back, or if it's ever time to come back. And then the idea came from Don Callis to do Kenny versus Jericho at the Tokyo Dome. And I thought, well, that's pretty interesting. And it's totally a main event match. And so that's what it was. It was a double main event with maybe Okada, Naito, maybe whatever it was. But that's where, when we did that match, you saw the difference. Like, extra 15,000 tickets sold for the Dome. I think 30% streaming service went up 30% for New Japan World. This is a legit money match, and Jericho's a legit money draw. So I better start fucking protecting myself, or else I won't be anymore. And, and so that's when I became very strict as to what I was doing. All my matches in New Japan were main event or double main event. Because I knew, like, this is a chance to kind of almost reinvent myself as a box office draw. Anybody that ever took Jericho for granted as a draw, now here's in your face. And that's when Tony Khan saw that match, and suddenly AEW became more and more of reality. And that's when I started thinking, well, maybe it's time to try something new and maybe change the business for the better.